went off the war, and there it is. Good little bird.
No, where was little Jack?
Oh, did you say that? I heard somebody say it. I couldn't get where it come from. My hair's not red. You know what reason all my brothers I couldn't drive. How much older brother? He couldn't drive.
Be careful.
My mom went Navy. She's got
We got a permanent. He got a beard.
Actually, he shaved it up.
I know, if he got a beard, he might
Hey,
as
y'all
well
got to pray for us. Josh shaved it up.
Pray for people on the road meeting.
Yeah.
Let's pray for our insurance.
Pray for the other man.
I'm afraid he's going to take after his cousin. Sorry.
What cousin?
Melody. Hey, how are you? He's going to be in
Which one is that?
Which one fly?
Which one is that? The Terry deer.
You are the baby, aren't you?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, heard a history read by Dave Peeler about our great-grandfather Bratton. And Dave has blessed me with a copy of this, and I'm going to make additional copies of this material, and we'll have them available for anybody that wants them, if y'all see me afterwards. Also, we have a few copies of some genealogy that Aunt Grace has put together. There's a few things additional to that that'll be in these packs. And I have about 450 tied up. I just like my money back on those. And if you see me about those, if we don't have enough to go around, we'll try to make additional copies and mail them to you. If you just let us know whether you'd like one or not. Also, Dave brought a picture. It was an old, I'm not sure about the name of these, but it was a metal picture. What are those properly called, Dave?
Well, that was just a copy made off of the metal, but the metal had a chip in it all my life, and it was near his face, which of course hurt the picture.
This is great-grandfather Brad. Also, for those that might be interested, when Jack was here last year as president, he had Congressman Spratt to come and speak. And I wasn't aware that that was going to take place, so I didn't have a tripod to steady a camera with, but I handheld the camera and I got it on video. And I have a few copies of that.
I know I'm Dave Fiegler, and of course, James Edward Bratton was my grandfather. James Edward Bratton was born January the 27th, 1844 in York County in South Carolina. To Thomas and Elizabeth Bratton. James was the fourth child born to Thomas and Elizabeth, and his brothers and sisters were Mary, Elizabeth, Sarah, Martha, and one brother, Ross Bratton. James' childhood was spent on the family cotton farm and working in his garden and with his father and mother and brother and sister in Sharon, South Carolina. On the 1860 census, the family is shown having $190 real estate value and $141 personal value. Not bad for an average family in that year. And that year, James was 16 years old. The next year, in 1861, James' life changed drastically. The war between the states interrupted thousands of lives, and our James enlisted in Company K, 17th South Carolina Infantry, Confederate States Army. The 17th was the Army of Northern Virginia, and under the command of General Robert E. Lee. My mother, Bernice, told me several times that her father, James, mentioned General Lee riding among his regiment and his army with no arms on his person, no gun, no sword. The 17th was involved in some of the bloodiest battles in the war between the states: Bull Run, Antietam, South Mountain, and the Crater at Petersburg, Virginia. Mother told me when James returned home to the torn South, another story was told how he walked for miles looking for seed corn in the troubled days shortly after the war. Mother told me when James on a troop train and his pocket knife fell out of his pocket, part of his body hanging off the train and going a long distance, and the movement of the car shook his pocket knife out of his pocket on the track and forced to be lost forever. In 1870, James married Elizabeth McDaniel. Together, they had 14 children, and they're all named, but I think this is the way that, no, I tell you, let me, yeah, right here is more like it. Cordelia, Isabel, John James, Thomas Nathaniel, Rufus Hamilton, Molly, Effie, Miles, Alberry, Ernie, Hannah Victoria, Bernice Catherine, Benjamin Monteith, and Rush Bratton. James raised his family in the Wilkinsville community. His descendants are populated throughout the United States. He lived his entire life on the farm, dedicated to his family and his God. On March 17th, 1916, James died and was buried in the Avenue Creek Cemetery, his home church. We can be proud of James the Brattons in the past. And you see, they have a copy machine back here.